Hi, everybody. Welcome to this new edition of the Global Wisdom Gathering, Dreaming the New Earth. This time, all about our creative nature as a portal to wholeness. This 5-day event is an in-depth conversation about our inherent connection with creation. It's about humans as part of and not separate from nature. It is about how we can experience true belonging here on our exquisite planet. And it's about our innate power to create, all of which is key in our journey toward liberation, expansion, and sovereignty. We also explore the land, the plant, and animal worlds as allies and teachers, and how they are showing the way. And I'm excited to be here in this session with Mar Guerrero. It's such a pleasure to have you, Mar. Welcome. Excited to and honored to
Thank you.
you and to have you as part of this gathering.
So thank you for inviting me. I love the topic of this summit and the energy that is behind that. So it's such a pleasure to connect with you and everyone here in the summit.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maj. I'm going to go ahead and share about your background so people have an idea, for those who don't know you yet, have an idea of where you're coming from and all the wisdom that you're sharing today with us. Mar Guerrero is a catalyst for collective and personal transformation through astrology, alchemy, shamanic breathwork, and shamanism. She guides courageous, creative, and visionary souls who are ready to activate their primordial power and manifest their deepest desires in their lives, their creative projects, relationships, and businesses, chakra by chakra, planet by planet. Mar's initiation into the mysteries of her own life force energy and primal creative power has been profound. This is why it is both a pleasure and an honor for her to accompany other souls in embodying the fullness of their unique life force energy, the power of their desires, and their innate genius so they can bring to life businesses, books, and personal brands that transform the world from the inside out. Beautiful. And Mar will be sharing with us in this conversation about a powerful aspect of our connection to the earth, which is the power to create, as we were saying in the introduction to the event, and to root our dreams and bring them into manifestation in their most tangible form. So she will be talking about firing up your life force and your money power in 2026 and beyond. So, Mar, I wonder if we could start with where it all began for you. Just an overview of your life journey and how it began, how you came to be doing the work that you're doing now, and supporting others to do the same.
Where I think it began when I was born, basically, that it was very hard to come into this world. Like my mother couldn't dilatate when I was being birthed, and there is a lot about the way we come to the world that it really means the way that we go through changes. So from the beginning, I will really encourage everyone to feel like, how was it that I was born in this life? Because 2026 is such a year of changes and transformation. So the way that we came into existence is going to be activated one way or another. And then, like years after, as a teenager, I always struggled so much between being very spiritual, and the only way to be spiritual in Spain during that time was Catholic Church, and being also very rational and very intellectual. So it always felt like a fragmentation between two sides of who I am. And in my work, over the years, it was always struggling with this fragmented self and like having to choose between being a professor in a university in Thailand because I was teaching Spanish as a foreign language, but at the university level and going to conferences, but then a lot of paperwork that didn't make sense, a lot of things that we were teaching the students that they were going to be the leaders of Thailand because it was an international university, and the opposite of what they really needed to embrace, that it was their life force, their passion, their desires, their unique song of genius. So I was giving my own life force to a job that it was doing kind of like the opposite of what it needed to be doing. But I still believed in education, and I still believed in a part of what I was doing. And that sense of fragmentation is really what it has started everything. And it was also experienced in my relationships, like a fight with the patriarchal system, basically. Like the way we are treating the earth, our own bodies, the whole political, cultural, economic system. It doesn't matter of the country where we are, because Clara, you have the same experience, right? Like having parents that they are from Spain, then being raised in South Africa, but then here as well. In my case, he was older, that it was that decision of going to Thailand, to the States, to Spain. And we think our problems, social problems, are just local, are just our own government, our own system, but it's a whole system that is very patriarchal, and that it has, and that is beyond men and women, because men are also suffering of these patriarchal societies that are not fostering and promoting what is alive. It's a system that you have to give your life for sometimes, to things that you don't believe in, to things that are not healthy for yourself, for your body, for your children, and for nature. So there was always this struggle, and that was in many ways. Like, I also have a fibroid and problems with my womb. That was part of the initiation of doing many of the things like astrology and shamanism, and understanding why I had this ever going fight between my desires and society. And becoming an astrologer was part of really shedding light on, like, I could understand. I have a lot of Aries that is a lot about passion and being independent and life force and what is truly primal within the self. And then opposing Libra, like I have Saturn and Jupiter in opposition. So it was like society against who I am. And with the years, I'm feeling that that is the mastery within myself. And I'm the only person who can choose to be both. Like, I don't need to choose between my masculine, my feminine. I don't need to choose between my rational and the irrational spiritual. And what I do choose is a path that is not controlled by external situations, but is kind of like finding the rooted power in whatever situation we are. Like that, being in the eye of the hurricane and then feeling rooted in my own life force energy as a woman, as a human, and as nature, because it's like there is no separation between us and nature. It's like we are nature.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so interesting. I like how you putting it, so many people in this time are going through huge life transformations, changing direction in their work, relationships ending, all kinds of things. And to put it that way, frame it as, where am I putting my life force, and does this make sense? Is it aligned with my values, what makes sense for the greater picture? So thank you for expressing it in that way. The word money comes up in the title of this session, of what you're sharing with us. And some people could think, well, what does this have to do with our connection with nature? But what would you say is the role of money, excuse me, the role of money and of power and desire in creating this change and dreaming the new earth as we are doing right now?
Yes. Yeah, because It's like we have different levels of awareness, and then there is this primordial power of the unconscious, the natural landscape of what is beyond the currents and life force energy, that is very Shakti and is very feminine in a way. And then we have the social environment and our ability to make things happen in a very practical manner. Like, what do you do in your work, and how do you pay your bills? And that is very spiritual as well. And then there is the higher self, and that angelical, very like way to connect with something that goes beyond um, the social and the physical, that is the transcendence of the body and the spirit. And the feminine path is the path of bringing a spirit into matter and bringing dreams, dreaming the new earth into existence requires money, because it's part of how the rules of the game in society is built. Money itself is neutral, is pure love. Like, if you truly connect with money in a very energetic level beyond all the like corruption and everything that has happened in the world, if you truly connect with the energy of money, is that energy of exchange of values. And what is that we are valuing as society, the more that people don't put only their words, but also their money in the direction that we want to see in the world, the more that we will be able to build structures in a social level that are fostering life force energy, that they are not exploiting nature in any sense. Because when we exploit nature, it's not only the natural landscape of the mountains and the waters and the oceans and everything that we have been doing to the earth, we are also exploiting ourselves. Because the moment that you need to put your life force energy towards something that you are not aligned, that is not alive for your soul, you are kind of like being a prostitute of your own energy. It sounds very edgy, but that's the way I felt in my university at the end of working there. And it was a very painful experience because I used to love that job. It wasn't the job, it was the system. So, how do we build educational systems, for instance, that they really foster the potential in every human being within the system, so they can dedicate their life force energy to whatever they feel passionate about? So for some of them, maybe it's going to be more environment. So for another person, what they feel passionate about is justice, and they will put their life force energy towards legal system. Another person maybe is just hosting retreats in their land. Another person is going to be dedicated to healing and the medical system. We need to dream every single aspect of the whole society as a global tribe, because everything we have been building so far is not fostering the natural primordial powers that is alive within us. And for that, money is required. So it is very important to make peace with money, understanding the power, make peace with power as well, because many times, especially for women, we are very afraid of truly embracing our power because it's really a lot. And sometimes when we go to the unconscious, that primordial power that is moving everything, the feminine is really angry because we are making decisions sometimes out of misalignment, and the feminine wants to be fully rooted in what is more alive at this very moment. How can I make decisions in my life that are pro-life, not against what is not working. So I feel with this thing of dreaming Earth into existence is very important to put our energy towards what we want to see in the world. And if we feel angry with situations and putting that rage towards, instead of fighting against, like what is beyond the wall, what is beyond that thing that is not working. If we are angry with money, anger is fire up, is the energy of being able to do things. Like if we are numb, then our life force is not activated. When we get activated, our life force gets sometimes really trapped in the system because the system is very rigid, controlling, and not pro life force. So if we are connected with nature, it's like there is no way around. We are going to feel anger sometimes. And it's not about judging our emotions, it's about connecting with the alchemical force that our emotions are leading us towards. And this is why I love breath work. But it's not only about breathing, it's about taking action in our lives to choose what is truly alive for me. The more that we do that, the more that that dream, the new earth, is not going to be just a dream, is a dream that is manifested. And that for me, it really moves every single cell in my body. It's like, yes, that's the way forward. So that is what I'm passionate about.
Mar, you are a shamanic practitioner as well. Tell us about the three world approach in shamanism and what does it look like to, to apply this ancient earth-based wisdom to these modern times and how, what you teach people to do and guide people to do, which is really connect with our purpose and our true essence.
Yes. I love that. And the idea with shamanism is that in many, many cultures around the world, all these earth-based traditions, that we are all indigenous of the earth in one way or another. When we go beyond limits of the borders and all of this, we are all children and guardians of the earth and nature. So within these traditions that they exist all over the world, there is this idea that is repeated in many of them. That is this sense of three worlds. We have the higher world, the middle world, the lower world. And I mentioned a little bit already, like the higher world is that quantum world where everything is possible, when there is no limitation because it's a spirit. And this world within shamanism is where we have a lot of like gods and goddesses and angels and all these multidimensional beings that is basically energy that is not limited to matter. And we always have access to that. And it's amazing because in that realm, everything is possible. And that is where dreams are being formed. But then we also have the middle world. And the middle world is more ordinary reality. But within the middle world, we also have the spirits of the forest. And there is a magical aspect within the forest. We have the spirits of the ocean, the spirits of different aspects of nature. But in a way, that ordinary reality is very important because that is our daily basis. And what happens sometimes if we only go to the higher world is that, yes, here everything is possible and we do a spiritual bypass. Like we are not fully living the life as it is in the middle world. So that part is very important to really root our power. Be conscious about what is truly happening in your everyday life and how can you see the magical aspects of anything and how can you connect with your trees and your plants and the rivers with that magical connection of the spirit of the river. What is the river telling you? Because the nature is always talking to us. And then the lower world is the world of the unconscious, in a way, in psychological, but it's also the world of power animals. It's a more primordial aspect of nature. It's the undercurrent of power. And that word is also very important because sometimes we want something to be manifested here, but in order to really experience it in our daily life, we need to also be tapped into the roots in that power, because dreams without power, they become fantasy, and they just become to be something that help us to be like detached of the reality. But when dreams are connected to life force energy and those primordial powers of the lower world, then is when we have vertical alignment between our powers, our daily life, and what is possible. In that way, the chakras becomes activated. We are in vertical alignment. Every single tradition of spirituality has considered this axis. And that life force energy is our Kundalini energy. Like we need that in order to make things happen in the everyday life. So I'm very passionate about this because we don't manifest in the material world only through dreams. We need all these three worlds aligned in order to say, okay, what is alive? Where is the life force, that primordial power? Where is my heart in my daily life? And what is the potential of this situation beyond the limitations? And in that, we become infinite and we are able to do anything. And then also, we experience the initiations in our lives that we're all going through them in 2026 because it's a year of many, many, many changes. But we are rooted in my own life force energy. And then every second, I know what's the next step. I don't need to know more than one step towards what is alive for me.
Mm. You touched on 2026 being a big year, and we keep hearing that 2026 and beyond, maybe 2027 as well, are going to be really big years with regard to this time of transformation that we're in at a planetary level. And since we're just starting 2026, tell us about why this year is, such a pivotal one to connect with our dreams and our life force energy from an astrological perspective.
Yes, I love that. In a very easy way for people who are not astrologically inclined, it's very easy to see one elemental shift that is going to happen. We have been in years where there was a lot of emphasis in earth and water, very feminine, very inner, very slow as well. So the transpersonal planets are planets that are very slow in their movement, and they really show us where is the energy in the transpersonal collective unconscious, the power, all of this. They are so slow that they really imprint the energies of the collective. So when any of these planets change signs, is a big deal because it happens like with Pluto happens like every 20 years approximately. With Neptune is around 14 years. So Uranus is 7, 8. So next year, many of them are all changing signs at the same time. And that is a lot. It's like only one is kind of like you feel it. But then when all of them, Pluto is already in Aquarius, but then we have that is air sign. But then we have the shift of Neptune from water, dreaming, to Aries, action. Then we have Saturn that it moves less slowly. Is 30 years is the whole theme, but then it's also moving from water to fire. At the beginning of Aries, that is the point of birth. This is why I started with reflect how you came to the world, because that maybe is activated, and some people, if they came with C-section, for instance, they feel sometimes that they are just like life is taking them before they are ready. In my case, for instance, I push and push and push, and my mother didn't open up, and it was like 24 hours. And that's the way I go through changes. But we have that rebirth point. This is very important in life force. What, like becoming a warrior for good, not as fighting against something, but really being very sovereign, being very clear with what for you is necessary for this life to change, not just dreaming about it, is dreaming into action. That part is very important in 2026. It's like you're dreaming this magical landscape. Yes. What are you really focusing on in your everyday life? Because there is the test. It's like whatever you're dreaming, you are required to take action towards that. For some people, that action can be very small, just finding a tribe in your local neighbor to weave together, I don't know, or find something that you feel passionate about and make the steps in that direction. There is also an energy of playfulness that is very interesting. And Uranus is also changing from Taurus, Earth, towards Gemini, Air. So that is happening with all of them. They are doing really beautiful sextiles and trines, that is energy that is truly moving forward and fluid. But it's going to be fluid in a way we haven't experienced in this life. Like these energies, we don't know because we haven't, like these planets move in like 200 years orbit. So we don't have the experience in this lifetime of these energies together all at the same year. So nobody really knows how it's going to be manifested. What we know is that it's very important that you focus on what is alive for you. How can you be more playful in your everyday life? How can you open pathways of possibilities, like things you know, I'm too old for this, try out. You feel like dancing makes you more happier, dance. Like doesn't matter if you're 80 years old. It's still young to start things. There's a year for starting things. And it's a what I really emphasize with the whole energy, and there is a commitment point in January with Venus, Mars finding themselves with the Sun in Capricorn. So commit to your rooted power. January. February, there is a lot of transformation of the collective. April, there are 7 planets in Aries. Go for it. It's like have our astrology reading and see in which area of your life you have those points, because especially in Aries there is a point in April that we know, if we know how to use the energy, it's going to be like a cut. 7, like imagine is the first sign of the zodiac and we are going to have 7 planets. This is not normal. And the whole configuration, like I don't want to go really deep into the whole because it gets sometimes too abstract, but just believe me, there are so many points. Also in the alignment of like 26,000 year cycle, that this is a lifetime year of action. So the initiation is going to be especially if we are not taking action. And if we are taking action and is fully aligned with What is it that we came here to do? Sometimes we will be tested. Keep going, keep going. What makes you passionate? What makes you alive? What makes you more you? That is the pathway. That's the path moving forward, and that is daily, day to day. There is no a plan, and we cannot control life. I think that is also something that 2026 is going to teach us in so many levels. We cannot control nature. We need to listen to nature and then take action according to what is uh, our connection with the spirit. They are always talking to us. Like nature, spirit is always talking to us if we just sit, listen, and take action.
Speaking of listening, as a collective, we have really lost touch with our body, our, the wise nature of our body, this incredible vessel that we've been gifted. And I think, if our bodies could tell stories, there would be a lot to say. And we really need to be slowing down to listen to our body very attentively and intentionally. And I want to ask you about breath work. How has this come into the work that you do? Maybe let's start with the basics, because maybe some people are not familiar with what breath work is. Tell us about what breath work is and how it's such a powerful transformational tool.
So every tradition in the world has a connection with breath and spirit. Like breath work, breathing itself is breathing spirit into our bodies. It's just connecting with that wisdom that you're mentioning of our bodies. And the breath work that I do is called shamanic breath work and is a connected breath. And you lie down, we're going to experience a little bit, and it's very powerful, and it really helps you to tap into that creative force, what is alive for you, and that is going in to receive the messages, because that is always the first step. And as I was mentioning with the energies of 2026, there is so much air on fire that things are going to be really, really, really accelerated, much more than we have seen so far. So people are going to sometimes feel like overwhelmed with like too many things. So breath work help us to go in and then transform whatever we need to transform and then go out in a different way. But this year, I will really emphasize that it's not only about being in and then being in and then being in and then allowing life to happen. Is being in, going out, being in, going. And this we see it with breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And that is the process. And the breathing out, there is a purging energy when we breathe out, but there is also an expansion energy. It's allowing ourselves to be as big as we truly are. So breath work is just understanding that is the first thing that we do when we are born, breathe, and it's the last thing that we will do when we die, breathe, our last breath. So from the first breath to the last one is your life. So how do you want to experience that life? When we have trauma or difficult experiences, what we do sometimes is just get frozen. And with breath work, we go in that frozen state. And sometimes the memories that we didn't want to experience during that time, they get activated. But it's because you are ready to process them. We do need to unlock those frozen energies in order to allow life to expand. And much more than healing is alchemy, because some point we realized we were never sick. It was just frozen energy that needs to be released and forgiven, and then just kind of like you are not that person 100% anymore. You are a different person, and how can you hold the wounds in your life from a space of allowing the nectar from that experience to be alive, and not just focusing on the wound eternally, right? Like, well, I had this experience when I was a child, so I'm going to be forever traumatized. Is a moment of, yes, I'm not saying that is not a part of you, but is what I started with. Breathwork help us with the fragmentation of ourselves, everything together. So within you, there is a part that was a victim, but there is a part also that is a powerful being who can hold the victim and who can really be at peace with life. So all of this breath work help us, and how we are going to breathe together is we breathe in and out, and we'll do 10 minutes, just an experience. And then if we want to go deeper, I will have the free gift is that. So together we will just go very short, and then it's just the invitation to go deeper in a session. So we breathe out, in, out, and there is no pause between inhalation and exhalation. If you have problems with the heart, mental issues, that this can be too much, any issues, you can write me to ask me if you should breathe like this or not. Normally, we are not doing that long and it should be fine. If you do it as a meditation, it also works. But if you are fine, breathe this way because you are moving energy just in a deeper way. But more than anything, listening to your body, because your body will guide you to what is appropriate for you more than me. So that is very important. And that is what we are going to do together. You can lie down and put something on your eyes and connect with that intention to what is truly alive for me. How can I fire up my life force energy? And we're going to do a very short breathing practice to just feel what is alive for you. And at the end, take an action in that direction. And just like if what is alive for you is create art, get the pencils and just make that commitment of I'm going to start creating art. If what is more alive for you is to release the dynamics with your parents in that, like, they are difficult, how can you talk to, like, anything, or write down anything that you want to change and burn it, but take an action after the breathing to in that direction, because it's very important that we need to go in but we need to go out. And sometimes with the spirituality, the out part, especially for women, is harder. So we keep going in and in and in, and we keep healing ourselves, waiting for life to, and yeah, it's kind of like breathe in order to experience your life in a deeper way. But that part is important. So if Clara, if you're fine with it, we can, any question before we go to the practice?
There is one last question. Should I ask that now, or would you like and then end with the breathwork practice, or what do you feel?
I think we can go to the breathwork practice now,
Okay,
and then anything else to kind of like integrate everything at the end.
perfect. Great. Go ahead.
Yes. So I invite everyone to lie down if you want. You can also be seated, but it works very, like, there is a surrendering energy. So when you lie down, you put something to cover your eyes. I invite you also to have a journal next to you so you can pause this and get everything ready. And we are going to set that intention of unlocking, firing up your life force energy. What is truly alive for you? And I'm going to play some music. But first, really deep breathing into your heart, that intention for the journey. The intention of unlocking your life force energy, allowing yourself to be as big as you truly are, to dream big. So you breathe in into your heart, finding a heart flame that gets energized with every breath. Breathing out and feeling how the energy expands in every direction. And we are now breathing normally through our noses, just getting ready. You breathe now the heart of the earth, feeling deep roots. And when you breathe, you bring the power of earth, water, fire, and air, feeling very rooted in the primordial powers of the earth. Like an ancient tree that is always, always anchored on earth, and it doesn't matter what is happening around, you feel always supported by nature. And now you're going to breathe the heart of the cosmos, the infinite possibilities of the universe. When you breathe, you feel how these infinite possibilities are like branches of a tree that expand in every direction. Now we're going to start with the breath work and the music. So you're going to be called to breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And set that intention of unlocking your life force energy and your money so you can manifest your dreams, physical reality. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, no pauses. Keep breathing. And if there is anything in your life that you feel frustrated, angry, just allow yourself to feel what you feel without judgment. Because life force energy is the connection with emotions. So just allow yourself to feel what you feel. This is a sacred space for you to breathe your power. Breathe in, breathe out. Imagine yourself in a tribe, in nature, listening to the beat of the drums and remembering to honor your life force energy. What makes you feel passionate about life? Breathe in, breathe out. And now, in the silence, after being in that activation of what is truly alive for you, and I invite you to breathe deeply into your belly, your womb. If you're a woman, and that place within you, if you're a man also, that sexual energy of what is it that you are creating in your life with every breath. Breathe deeply into your belly and breathe out, listening to your core energy. And you're going to ask yourself, what is more alive for me now? If everything will be possible, if there is no limitations of money, age, time, no limitations, what would you do in your life? Ask your belly, what is it that your belly desires to do with your life force energy in your life? And just allow the first image that comes into your awareness. Placing your hands on your belly, ask your belly again, what do you desire to bring to the world? And taking your time, I invite you to breathe normally, take a journal, and start writing about the experience, and then also write the image, the feelings, the emotions that you will feel in that new earth. What is the new earth for you? And I invite you to write down every single detail. How do you feel? The colors, the taste. Put the five senses in that dream. So you can touch it. So it becomes matter. You can pause this video if you feel like it to take a little bit more time with your favorite song, journaling about this, asking your belly all the time, what is it that you desire? Asking your womb and your sexual organs, what is it that you desire? And then when you have done that, you can come back to us as we finish our conversation together. But take as long as you need to go through this before keep going.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Maj. Well, the last question I had for you is it's perfect timing now because it's what is your prayer or vision for the new earth?
Mm. my vision from the new earth, and I had this vision within my life since I was a teenager, and I feel very emotional even, is that every single human being on earth can dedicate their life to what they came here to do and share. Because I always feel that that is the solution of every single problem. If every human being will be focusing on something that is maybe medical, maybe healing, maybe more justice, maybe a political system that works. So, art, literature, beauty is like every human being will be contributing their uniqueness into a dream. And we will create Eden on earth. It's totally possible. And it depends on more and more of us putting the energy in that direction. And it's happening, it's already happening. Like it's very alive in the energetic system, like Eden codes of creation, because Earth was meant to be paradise. And it's time that we reclaim that.
Absolutely. Would you like to share briefly about the gift that you have for our audience? How can they claim it? What is it?
Yes. So the gift is a session, a longer breathwork session that is called Rooted Power, and we will go deeper into the desires from the imagination, higher world, the desires from the heart, the middle world, and the desires from the belly, the lower world. And then a whole breathwork of 40 minutes, and it will help a lot to go deeper into what we have been doing already. So it's very connected to this. And it's very connected with the energies of the beginning of 2026, where when this summit is out, there will be a lot of Capricornian energies of Venus, Mars, and the Sun meeting in Capricorn. That is Earth. Capricorn energies is like, how can we create structures that allow life to thrive? So the more that we breathe into it and that we really commit as well. There is a responsibility here that is very important. It's not only about wishing the new earth, it's about putting our energy towards the new earth. There is a responsibility for each one of the person listening to this, and we need every single human being in that direction. In your way, maybe for you is singing to the river every day, every morning. That's your job, like your work. For another person like us, Clara and myself, is more like to bring these creations into life. There is everything is needed. So there is no a smaller contribution or larger, it's just yours. What is yours to bring and how can you commit to that? 100%, not one step in, one step out, because that leaks energy all over.
Thank you so much, Mar. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all those who have tuned in to this conversation as well. Mar, if there's anything that you'd like to add as final words.
Yeah, just one thing, the time is now. So that is very important. This is the time that we were waiting for, and we are the ones we were waiting for. So it's like, stop waiting for other savior. You are the one who is going to save and nurture and dream the new earth into existence.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Many blessings. See you again soon.